Okay, let's talk about a big goal. Making $10,000 a month. It sounds amazing, right? But how do you actually get there? Most of us are only taught one way to do it. Today, we're going to look at a totally different path, a much smarter route to not just hitting that income number, but getting your freedom back too. Let's get into it.
So you've got the path we all know, right? The traditional route. Go to school, get good grades, head off to university, and hopefully land that secure 9-to-5 job. It's what our parents were told was the only way. But then there's this new route. It's a simple 3-step framework that's really taking off. Consume, apply, and educate.
And, here's a little reality check on that traditional path. The average monthly salary here in the US is just over $5,000. Now, that's a decent income, for sure, but it's a long, long way from that $10,000 goal. And remember, that's an average. It includes people who've been working for decades. If you're just starting out, that number's probably a whole lot lower. So let's really dig into these two different routes and what it all means for that classic trade-off, trading your time for your freedom.
What's so incredible about this new path is you don't need a pile of cash or a fancy degree to get going. A lot of today's most successful people are already living this. But here's the thing. The longer you stay on that traditional path, the harder it gets to jump over. Life happens, responsibilities pile up. So if this is something you're even thinking about, the best time to start is, well, right now.
All right, let's get into the actual framework. Step 1 is all about consuming knowledge. But this isn't just about random learning. It's about being strategic to build a real foundation for your income. And this is absolutely crucial. You have to focus on one high-income skill. We're talking about a specialized expertise you can actually sell, like video editing, coding, or copywriting. Don't try to be a jack of all trades. Pick one thing that you're naturally kind of good at. It's always, always easier to double down on a strength than it is to fix a weakness. So where do you find all this knowledge? Well, start with legit experts on places like YouTube. But please don't stop there. The real magic happens when you dive into niche communities on Reddit and Discord. That's where you'll find people talking about the actual problems they're having, which is way more valuable than just another tutorial. And yeah, of course, read books. They're basically a shortcut to someone else's lifetime of experience. And that brings us to step 2. Apply your skill. Because let's be honest, all the knowledge in the world is totally useless if you don't do anything with it. This is where the rubber meets the road. This right here, this is the engine of your progress. It's a super simple but powerful cycle. You consume some knowledge, then you immediately go and apply it. Learned a new bit of code, go build a tiny app. Then you just repeat. This little loop is what turns you into an expert fast. As you start applying your skill, you have to give yourself permission to fail. Your first website is probably going to be a bit ugly. Your first sales pitch might be awkward, and that is perfectly okay. I mean, J.K. Rowling was rejected 12 times. Beyoncé made hundreds of songs before she had a smash hit. True success only comes when you're not afraid to mess up. Now, let's look at the math for hitting $10,000 a month. It's actually way simpler than you might think. You don't need 1,000 customers. You just need 5 clients paying you $2,000 a month. Or shoot, just 2 clients paying you $5,000. See, as your skills get better and you can charge more, that big goal gets closer and closer. But here's the real key to freedom. If you're working every single hour just to make that money, you don't really have a business. You just have a high-paying job. The goal is to build systems. Write down your process, figure out the individual tasks, and then hire people to help you. That is how you scale and finally escape that time for money trap. Which brings us to the final, and I think the most powerful step of all, educate others. Once you've really mastered your skill, you can multiply your impact and your income by teaching it to other people. The online education industry is just exploding right now. I mean, so many of today's young millionaires have built their fortunes not just by doing a skill, but by teaching it. This is a massive, massive opportunity to build real, scalable wealth. And again, the math is just mind-blowing. Imagine you create one online course and you sell it for $100. You only need to sell 100 of those a month to hit your $10,000 target. It all comes down to this one idea. Create it once, sell it forever. The benefits here are just huge. You get predictable, recurring revenue, which is like the holy grail for any business. It's super scalable without you having to work more hours. This is how you really, truly get your time and freedom back, by creating assets like courses or communities that work for you around the clock. Now, you might be thinking, why on earth would anyone learn from me instead of some famous expert? And the answer is so simple. It's your relatability. You were just in their shoes. You get their struggles way better than some professor who learned this stuff from a textbook 20 years ago. That recent experience is your superpower. Don't ever underestimate it.
So, how do you actually build an audience that trusts you? Just remember the impact principle. I is for inspire, share your own journey. M is for message, be super clear on what you're all about. P is for practical, give advice people can actually use. A is for authentic, be real, share your experiences. C is for connection, build a real community. And T is for timing, just stay relevant. That's your roadmap. So there you have it, your path forward. It really comes down to two routes and one big decision. You've got the traditional way, and you've got this new route, designed to build not just wealth, but real freedom.
And that all leads to the final and most important question. It's one that only you can answer for yourself. When you really look at these two paths and you think about what you want for your life, for your income, and for your freedom, which route will you choose?